Work hard for what you want in life.
You work hard for what you want in life.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
Reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard.
The strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Work hard.
Work hard. Work hard. Work hard. Work hard.
Hey guys, I'm Tatum, and this is your girl Milan, and welcome to episode 36, I think, even though I just looked. Yes, episode 36 of the Black Girl Boss Podcast. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. So Milan has given me whatever cold she has because now I don't feel well. I've been in the bed all freaking day. So I don't know what you have. Huh?
No, I didn't say anything.
I was going to say, I don't know what you have, but it made its way through the phone to me. So thanks.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Whatever. Anywho, so on today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that came up in our Facebook group. So let me find the post. So this woman commented in our Facebook group, and so the way our Facebook group works, you guys, if you want to join it, it's Black Girl Bosses on Facebook. So the way the Facebook group works is all the posts have to be like approved, and then everybody has to be approved to be in a group. So when I approve people, I pretty much just like skim through to make sure, one, they're a woman, and two, they don't look creepy or spammy. So once I see that, I just approve everybody. But then when people want to post posts, then it has to go to be approved as well. So I don't always approve just promotional posts. Like if whatever you're saying isn't really offering any value to the group, I probably won't approve it. But yeah, it's a case by case basis. But recently, this past week, the post got like super backed up. And wait, Milan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So the post got super backed up, and so I just approved all of them because I didn't have time to go through each one. So then when I was going back and kind of like reading through and seeing what the conversation in the group was about, I saw that one woman, she posted about how she wishes that, like, it was so many, she said it was so many members in the group. I'm paraphrasing. It was so many members in the group. It was kind of overwhelming, and she wishes, like, maybe we will feature 2 businesses a month or something like that. So I was reading other people's comments before I responded, and she was kind of just saying, like, I hope one of the admins will approve this because every time I post this into a group, it gets ignored and it just stays the idea, kind of complaining. So, again, I'm not saying anything, still reading other people's comments. And then somebody else was saying, like, aside from the dialogue, they would like to see more active support or whatever. So I asked her logistically how would she suggest that work, because we have right now, like, over 1,300 members in this group, and I approve maybe like 20 people at least a day. So logistically, featuring 2 businesses a month, it will take years, literally, for us to get through everybody that's in the group right now, let alone the people that are going to accumulate over that time period. So whatever her response was, she explained it how she thought this was going to work. So I told her, okay, cool. So since you're already doing it, because in the post she was saying that she had already started this effort and was basically saying the page that she has is already doing it. So I was like, cool, well, if anybody wants to join your page, like, I'm not one of those people, some members in Facebook, some people who have Facebook groups, they'll be like, they'll kick you out the group and all this other stuff. I'm not really doing all that. So I have no problem listening to what anybody has to say. So when she said that she had her own group, cool, like, I have no problem with anybody going to join that group for that purpose. So when she was like, so then I said, well, when you do that, just post it into the Facebook group and I'll approve it. Simple. You're already doing it. Great. I'll open up this platform for you to share or highlight other women's own businesses. Perfect. So she was like, so she wanted to like link the groups or something. Now I wasn't really doing that. Linking the groups is a whole different ball game because that comes with, like, associating what brand you have with the Black Girl Boss brand. Now that's something I do take seriously, so that's a no. But I was definitely open to her highlighting the businesses. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because this reminds me of an issue that a lot of new entrepreneurs had. And what sparked that was she said something in one of her comments, some of her commentary. She said something like a lot of businesses need help, and we can help each other by supporting each other. So great, that's great in theory, but y'all know me. I'm all about practicality. I'm all about strategy. I'm all about what's effective, not necessarily what sounds good. So that's something that's good in theory. Now, the issue comes up in that that's not necessarily effective. And when I say that's not effective, I mean just posting in Facebook groups isn't always effective for growing your business. And for example, if people aren't really willing to spend the money to invest in buying anything that grows their business, not necessarily anything, but if people aren't really eager to invest in growing their business, personally, I don't really see how people will be eager to buy your shirt or buy your whatever just in the name of saying support you. Like, am I wrong here, or do I feel like that's just not a good predictor? That's not consumer behavior.
It's not, because if they're not doing what they're supposed to do to build their own brand, they're not going to support somebody else's. Like, that wouldn't even make sense. That's not even logical. Like, how do you explain that to somebody else? Oh, how's your business going? Oh, it's okay, but you've been supporting everybody else's, but you haven't got yours off the ground yet, or you haven't really put money into yours, but you're putting money into other people's. So why is that? Nobody's going to have a clear explanation once to why that even would make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And even so, let's just even say that it worked. That every time you posted a business, let's say 5 people bought from that business, and then you bought from 5 other businesses. That's not a sustainable business model. You want to create marketing strategies that drive consistent sales, that build loyal customers, them quote unquote wanting to support you for whatever reason. To me, is not enough to build a business off of. That's when you're just focusing on the right now and not necessarily the longevity. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I agree. I guess more so people should focus on, instead of like, okay, we like to sell products or sell shirts, but looking at their marketing strategy, saying, okay, well, let's support each other. Like that's being in a group chat or in the Facebook group, and you're posting something like, oh, hey, I just released a new service, but there's no marketing strategy behind it. You're just like, oh, can you support me? I just released a new service, and just saying it like that. That's not really any implementation. That's not showing anything to what you do. Why people should, you're a marketer. You need to market your service the best way possible. Like, oh, by this strategy, X, Y, and Z, like you do now. But if you didn't do that, that wouldn't make people want to look at you or support you any further than what they are clearly doing in the group right now. You have to put out and make it seem appealing, but just to say, oh, well, you need to, if I support you, you support me. No, because then that's not really benefiting your brand or helping your brand grow, because you're not allowing yourself to come up with any marketing strategy or anything that makes sense to have people want to invest in it. You're just using a group because, oh, we're in a group together, we should support each other. No, let that person support you because they really, really like something that you put out, because the marketing and the logic behind it is there.
Yeah, exactly. Add value that makes people want to support you. Us being in the group together, just to me personally, is not enough for me to invest in you. I don't know anything about you, your service, your product. I don't know anything. People like you. People buy because they know you, like you, trust you. We say this all the time. So if you want people in these Facebook groups to support you, you have to participate. add value. Start supporting in free ways. Like, if somebody posts, I have an event coming up, saying, hey, I don't live in that area, but I'm going to share your event with my group. Or, do your part first. But don't just say, okay, we're going to all get together and share businesses every month, and that's how we're going to be successful. And I'm not saying that, and I don't want nobody to be like, to think that I'm saying that that's what she meant or this is a direct response from her. I'm just telling you what her comment or this thread made me think about. So that's why I wanted to talk about this on the show, not necessarily to be shady towards her. Because like I said, if you want to highlight women-owned businesses, that's great. I don't have anything against that, but it just triggered a thought in my head, especially as somebody who helps people build businesses. That's a mistake that a lot of people make early on, thinking that you're just going to post for post, like for like. That doesn't work these days with social media, with the way social media is growing. And so, Milana, I was going to ask you that too. Even that type of we all share, like each other, we get more brand awareness, or we get more impressions or more reach for our posts. That stuff doesn't work anymore for that. So can you talk a little bit about just how social media in general is changing with how Facebook is trying to monetize everything?
So with Instagram and Twitter and all these other social platforms outside of Facebook, growing your following organically now is becoming a challenge, especially if you are not paying attention to your target audience and the market that you have currently targeted on social media. That's just what it is. What we used to could do to get people's likes and attention, like on Facebook, isn't the same on Instagram. So for Instagram, for all of my people that are trying to grow their following on Instagram, if you are still taking the same techniques that you've been doing and you're seeing that it's not happening, it's because, one, you're not paying attention to your market. You're not staying up to date with the trends. And I had to do this with one of my clients. I told her, well, what I want you to do is hashtag something that's trending. So, for example, when Mayweather and McGregor had fought, granted, it may not have been about her doing natural hair or, anything that she really does. Of course, you include those hashtags still of what you do, natural hair guru, natural hair gang, whatever the case may be. But it was the perfect time to hashtag McGregor, Mayweather, and other things that were trending in those hashtags, because that allowed her to get impressions, one. It allowed her to gain likes, and it allowed her to gain followers. Mm-hmm. So you have to really be up to date on the trends, and that's a marketing strategy, being up to date on the trends. So using the trends to your best ability. When the whole Kim Kardashian, Blac Chyna, and Rob Kardashian scandal happened, you best believe I took that and ran with this. So I posted, I think I talked about this before, I posted a picture of Rob, Chyna, and Tiger. Chyna was in the middle, Tiger was on the other side, and Rob was on that side, on the other side. And I forgot what the caption exactly said, but I was like, what did I say? I said she did X, Y, and Z, and so should you by scheduling your free discovery call. And then I hashtag, Rob Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, like a bunch of hashtags related to them, and I gained over 10,000 impressions on it. Mm-hmm. And I think I landed about 5 to 6 discovery calls for that week, and they weren't just like in the DMV though. It was like Atlanta, Jersey, New York, Florida, just like, different places. But it was off that post, and I know it was because, one, I've never had a discovery call out of Florida. Mm-hmm. So that was that strategy. But you have to really, because Facebook is one of those social media platforms where we have yet to discover it, if that makes sense. We don't really know how to use Facebook. Only people that really know how to use Facebook is our parents. But I don't think we've actually fully grasped the concept of Facebook besides running the ads and starting the group. But we haven't figured out the strategy behind it, as well as we think that we've tapped into the Twitter and Instagram. Because if you hashtag on Facebook, is it really effective?
No, because Facebook wants you to buy ads. So it's intentionally something that you can't really get exposure for organically. That's why they make their money by being basically an ad company. An advertising agency is, to be honest, what they are now, as opposed to a social network. So they're controlling your reach so that you can pay for it.
Exactly. So that brings me, and every reason I say that, so I wanted to just say that, so then it brings me to what I discovered on Facebook. So Facebook has now become it's been that, but more so now than ever, a sharing site.
Mhm.
The more shares you get, the more advertisement and publicity you are to gain. So on my U Management site, I posted a video of one of my clients, and she's the Instagram influencer. Mind you, I posted it on my business page, not my personal page, but the business page, and that has received over 14,000 views and like 2.2 shares. 2,000 shares. So it's received like 2,000 shares. That's on the business, and that was really just off the strength of sharing it from Instagram. I didn't go on there and actually upload the video to Facebook, but that just shows that with what we do, we have to, on Facebook is now that more share site, so you need to utilize like how you do the Facebook videos and the Facebook Live, actually keeping them and having people share them, and that has to be something that they want to do versus saying, hey, guys, share this. So that means that you, and it goes back to what Tatum said, have to produce content and actually marketing that people want to see and not just ask them. So if you have to ask people, then that means that you're not really capturing your audience. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not really tapping in. Tatum doesn't produce anything that she knows will not be beneficial or what people aren't already asking. On Instagram, when it comes down to posting, when it comes down to posting with me, I'll post me in I have pictures from my photo shoot. So I'm like, okay, I know this outfit people like. So I'll post that picture, but I'm going to post something under it. So they're going to read it because they're going to look to see what the caption is. And by the time they've already started reading, they're drawn in. So then I end up with a bunch of comments from people commenting on what I said, but I know my audience. So I'm not going to post a flyer. I'm not going to post something random. I'm going to post me in an outfit that they 9 times out of 10 already have liked on my page. I know that I can use that again just in a different setting or in a different, photo, whatever the case may be. But that's how I've gained a lot of my followers organically. And it's all been about just paying attention to my market and not stepping outside of what my followers and consumers want to see. And that's where it comes back to staying in your lane.
Absolutely.
And actually doing what you know. So it goes back to everything that Tatum just said. If you already have a group like that, do what you know. So bring it up in the group. Hey, ladies, if you want to be featured on the definitely come over to the page and I'll feature you. It doesn't mean you have to leave this group because these two groups serve a different purpose. But everybody's too busy on social media, and this is why their following is not going organically because you're too busy trying to I'm about to say piggyback. I hate that word. Mimic what somebody else is doing. So your following is not going organically because what works for them doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Or asking for favors instead of providing value.
Okay. Asking for favors instead of providing value, exactly. And don't get me wrong, you can if you're this type of person where you feel that you can pay, that you should pay for Instagram promotion and and it works for you, do that. We're not saying don't do that. I know a lot of people who pay these Instagram celebrities and the shade room to advertise for them, and they've seen it. But is that really organic when you've paid for it? Because that's still a form of payment. Don't think that paying for a promotion, you got your following organically. That's not. It's not. It's because people have liked it so much consistently and probably have saved it, and it's made its way to the Explore page, and other people have seen it. That's organic. But any form of payment to increase that, it's not.
Well, I feel like I think it's okay to not have to pay for, let's say, Instagram ads or Facebook ads, because the purpose of those is, to be honest, an easier way to get in front of a different audience. So for me, sometimes me putting $10 on this post is saving me way more time than for me to do all the things that I know I can do for free to get a certain engagement or following or shares or exposure organically. So again, like she said, it's nothing wrong with either or, but the key factor is to provide value for your target audience or for the people that you're trying to reach, as opposed to just asking for a favor because or asking for a favor because quote unquote, we should all support each other. This is business. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's about growing a successful business. Now, if you don't want to grow or sustain a successful business, then that's on you. But what we do in this podcast and everything that we do in our services individually is to help people grow successful businesses and brands and sustain them. So that's what we're talking about here. If you're that person that's okay with that side hustle, or you're okay with making a couple extra dollars on the side, it's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's fine. But we're talking to the person who wants to be self-employed one day, but their money isn't letting them, you know, or they want to pass this business on to their children one day, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen because of what they see right now. We're trying to open up your mind or change your mindset so you can start thinking about business as a long-term thing and not just something that you're doing right now, because doing things like asking for favors or you support me, I support you, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, that's not things that happen. That's not things that build long-term businesses. What helps is adding value. And going back to the Facebook group topic, in my opinion, the best thing for Facebook groups, or the best way that you can leverage Facebook group, is market research, period. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to say a word. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about the benefit of getting to know your target audience. A lot of people don't know the habits, the thought process, the behaviors of their target audience because they're not paying attention to them. You so focused on, I want to sell this shirt, you're forgetting that in order for you to sell that shirt, you need to know what makes that person buy it. You know what I mean? And then you have to appeal to whatever makes them buy. That's how you think like a marketer. And if you're a business owner, you have to be a marketer, especially if you're not going to pay for somebody else to do it. So when you're in these Facebook groups, let's say your audience is millennial black women and you're in the Black Girl Bosses Facebook group and it's full of 1,300. It's going to be more than that when I hit approve on this list that I'm built up now. But when you're looking at this 1,300 something member Facebook group full of millennial black women, you need to be like, let me grab my pen, paper, let me grab my coffee and sit down for a little bit and get to trolling through here to see what people talking about, to see what type of questions people are asking. Like, I post questions in the group more than anything because, so, for example, the other day, I have a new marketing service that's going to come out in the fourth quarter. And then I have some freebies and other things that I want to do for marketing. But instead of doing what I think I should do, I simply ask the question, you know, what marketing questions do you guys have? What are some things that you're currently struggling with? I need some feedback because I'm planning something for marketing. And people are asking questions. They're telling me exactly what they need so I can create products and services that appeal to them. Like, that's how you utilize these things for your advantage, as opposed to just saying, here's my new lipstick, 30% off. Like, what? No, who's clicking that? The reason why nobody is clicking that, because I'm sure for y'all to do that in all these Facebook groups, you're not getting sales, especially not a significant amount. The reason why you aren't is because you're missing that market research factor. Like, you're not adding value, you know? So, yeah, that just kind of just sparked some things in the business coach of me that I was like, I got to bring this up on the podcast because a lot of people really, really have that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And it's a lot of times, like even with shirts, like with my shirts and stuff that I'm selling, I'm about to do a whole photo shoot with them because people want to see you on it. They want to see the different looks, and that's what draws people in. So if you do have shirts, and that's a free branding tip, dress them up. Show them how they can wear them. Because they see a T-shirt, it's okay, this is another T-shirt. But if you put it in a whole outfit, and they're like, oh, I didn't even think of that, it's going to make them want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just since we were talking about shirts, I just thought I'd throw that tidbit in there.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to kind of transition a little bit and kind of go back to the beginning. So we do have a lot of new listeners to the show. There are people who are just now getting introduced to us through the Facebook group who may not even gotten to the Facebook group through the podcast. But I want to talk about like in the very, very beginning phases, because the reason why people do join these Facebook groups or participate on social media is because they're looking for opportunities, whether it be opportunities to network, opportunities to grow their business. It can be speaking opportunities, whatever. So what advice would you give somebody like in the very, very beginning that's hungry, they're starting from scratch, on how to really capture opportunities?
What would I say? I guess the question is, what would I say to myself back when I first started? Because then I can definitely say it to you guys.
What'd you say?
I'm just trying to think. When I first, okay, all right. This is me, like, giving the advice, but I have to, like, talk to myself with it. You know,
yeah.
to, like, come out correctly. When I first started, in my mind, in my heart, in my everything, I knew that this was something that could not fail. It's like, with starting it, it's like, okay, you started, you get it going, it goes good, and then it just stops. You ever seen like a one-hit wonder? They make a song and they just jump off the face of the earth, and they're like, where are they now? And not shading anybody, of course, but they're in Burger King. Like they went from this $1 million, you know, this Billboard top spot record to McDonald's. Like, you know, you don't, for anybody, that feeling is not good. Yes, you're grateful to have a job, but to know that you went from, you know, $1 billion to working at McDonald's, and that's your living means, because you probably didn't have the passion, you probably didn't have the drive, or you weren't hungry enough. So, but the person that is in that one-hit wonder spot never thought they could be there. They didn't think about what it could be if they stopped being hungry. So for me, and to, you know, stay hungry and to keep the drive that I have now and to keep it up in the momentum is to literally think of that. Like, people are so optimistic and fail to realize that what you have can be taken at the blink of an eye. So you always have to be hungry. You always have to keep that humbleness in the back of you and just stay focused. And that, I think that's probably like one of the biggest things. I think about that all the time. It's not like I thought about it at one time, like, oh, I'm hungry, you know, will keep me hungry. And I think about that often. Every time the company gets to a new peak, I'm like, this is great. But you got to, what's next to keep it going? You always got to have that what's next in your brain. If you don't have that what's next in your brain, then you're going to see a decline very fast. That's how a lot of them back in ancient Greek history, they had a lot of the declines. They were so focused on just living lavish and just being great. They didn't see that their empire was about to be attacked because they didn't think about what could be next. And that's why, if you think about it, for everything, you know, a lot of people fail to think about what's next. They stop thinking about what's next, and they're living in the moment, and then next thing you know, your moment is over. Don't be a one-hit wonder because you didn't think about what's next. Don't be a one-hit wonder because you didn't plan effectively. Don't be a one-hit wonder because you were so in the hype of how everything was going great that you forgot to remain hungry because you got too comfortable. I say that all the time. Your greatest grind happens when you're uncomfortable, so don't get comfortable. Because the moment you get comfortable, your grind is done.
I totally agree. And that comes along with, because you said when you first started talking, like, you knew this had to be successful. So that was your driving force. So for all of you guys who have new businesses, or if you have a business that isn't doing what you wanted to do right now, you got to remember why you started so that you can be able to capitalize off these opportunities. You know, when I started my business, I wanted to create a legacy. Legacy is my driving force, period. And it was further put in my face this past week because my grandfather is in town, and he lives in the Philippines, so we don't really see him that often. So he's getting older, of course, so it's time to have those tough conversations about, like, you know, wills and life insurance policies or whatever. And so we had a meeting, me, his children, so my aunt and my mother and my grandmother and my cousin. So we had a meeting about, like, his will, who was going to get what when he died. He has, like, a huge compound over in the Philippines. So he was like, you know, when this house sells, this is how much my children get, and this, that, and the other. So he has set this up to where, like, my mom and aunt get like $500,000 whenever he dies. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And these are the things that people don't really build. And what was more fascinating than just the amount that they get was the thought process behind it. So he even went back to the beginning, like, well, when he went and started building this compound over in the Philippines, or when he even moved over there in the first place, he was talking about his intention was to XYZ, and he always wanted to XYZ. And now, get into like the end of his life, or get into kind of seeing everything that he's built, it actually came into fruition. And now he knows when he passed, all of his children are going to be well off. You know what I mean? He has 6 kids. So imagine 6 kids getting $500,000. Like, that's craziness, you know, because he was able to build that from the beginning. And that's something that I want to do for my children. Like I tell whomever, like, my next business is definitely going to be an investing business. And what I plan to do is, as I have children, they get written in equity. Like, as soon as they're born, newborn, fresh off the press, you got 30% of whatever the investment business is right now. Another one's born, cool. You get this percentage. Like, you know, so my kids are going to have equity the day that they're born. And as they grow up, I'm still going to put money away for them. That equity is just for them, to, you know, for when they're older enough and they want to decide what they want to do with their life, or if they don't want to do anything with it at all, it belongs to them. So that's how I think now, being 25 years old, not married, and no children. That's what I'm thinking about now, legacy. So that makes me hungry for opportunities, and that's what drove me from day one. When I first started my youth program, I wanted to get into a school. So I got into a school. I seized every single opportunity I could. There was no opportunity left on the table, period. I'm even thinking about the possible opportunities that can come from the opportunity that I got, so I can make sure I'm ready for that. So, again, you guys, you have to be hungry for opportunities. When I talked about on the last episode, me and the girl that I reached out to for being to be a stylist, like, multiple people reached out to me after that episode. Are you looking for a stylist? You still looking for a stylist? Like, that just shows people are trying to take advantage of an opportunity, something that they heard. I didn't say I was still looking for a stylist. I said I was trying to decide if I was going to work with her or not. But people reached out to me, like, you know, because they saw an opportunity. And now she don't know this, but she could lose her opportunity based off of not being hungry enough, not being like, oh, wait, hey, Taylor, hold on, you got the Black Girl Boss podcast. Wait, you about to go speak in Miami at the big conference. Huh? Hold on. Ding, 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 ding. No lights went off. So that's an opportunity missed. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, you got to be hungry. Like, if you in these Facebook groups, you can't be in these Facebook groups just posting and leaving, hey, here's my bundles I'm selling, and then you hop off and waiting for a sale. No, you need to be like, if somebody saying I got a photo shoot coming up or whatever, hey, girl, you got a photo shoot coming up? Do you need some hair? Like, how can I incorporate my hair care line or whatever into what you're doing? Like, y'all got, like, for real, the biggest lesson in this is you really have to just think. And the only way you're going to start thinking like that is if you start taking your business seriously and stop just complaining or just settling for where things are. Like, David John has a book called The Power of Brute. And this book is so powerful because it's true. When you don't have nothing, you really make things happen. Like, that's when the creative things happen. Sometimes that's when the ghetto stuff happens too, but that's when, like, something that's when the creativity starts to work, because then you start to build stuff. I mean, that's even biblical. Like, in the Bible, when I forgot who, I ain't a Bible scholar yet, but I forgot who, but she said that she didn't have any food, but she had all the materials to make food. You know what I'm saying? So you too busy thinking about, you guys don't get too caught up in thinking about, like, I don't have, let's say, the revenue I want in my business. When you have all the tools to get that, you just not thinking in a way that's going to allow you to get that result. Or you're trying to take the easy way out. So, yeah, rant over. But I don't know what it was about that one thing that just triggered so many thoughts in my head. But, yeah, like, I'm done. Hop off soapbox.
I mean, it happens. You see those opportunities to just really explain to to the boss gang that, yeah, don't be that person. So it's cool. You just dropping knowledge and found that opportunity to provide that pathway to make sure that we are succeeding. So thank you for the conversation.
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to talk about. Last episode we were talking about like execution over excuses. So I want to kind of piggyback off that a little bit to ask you how you're preparing for your 2018 goals. Because what I realized is, aside from people not necessarily being naturally good executors, there are different types of people. There's that person that gets the high off of talking. There's that person that gets the high off of planning, and then there's the person that gets the high off of executing. So what are some things that you're doing now to kind of plan for 2018 so that increases your chances of executing?
What we talked about earlier today is working on this website. So I could have waited until 4th December to make the changes and the revamp to the website, but I decided to do it now because I definitely want the momentum for the rest of this year to pick up to carry me into 2018. So for all those service-based businesses that are on, contracts and everything, for me, I need to be getting ready to sign new contracts that carry over into, up to May of 2018. So for that, it means, okay, we're at almost fourth quarter. This is the last month of the third quarter. So for these last couple of months, my website needs to be, up to a standard now that I'm self-employed, now that this is the bread and butter of my everything. It needs to look a certain way. So I'm taking the time to really shift it and cater to each division of the company. So each division is going to have its own page now, so people can know exactly what they're getting out of that division. So it eliminates the ones who aren't serious, or it's no question on what you do, or, oh, let me get on Discovery Call, find out, and to come to find out that it's not what you needed. It's right there in black and white, so you can get that. So it eliminates the what is it? Not saying it's going to eliminate the people who call and waste our time, because that's still going to happen. But it's going to really lock in. And not to sound harsh about it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
People who they schedule a Discovery Call and they don't show up at all. So it's just that's one way that I'm doing it, really just revamping the website so I can get drawing those type of contracts that I need to carry over into 2018. Also, developing, like, of course, the new services the services that I've discussed before coming up from September up until the end of the year, but focusing on what am I launching as far as service-wise, product-wise, or so on and so forth for 2018. So really now thinking about that, what 2018 services are looking like. I have the ideas. I know what I want to do. It's just now drawing the blueprint up for them so they can be launched, executed come 18. So those are like two of the top things that are being done at this moment for 2018. Because in my mind, like, we're already there.
Right.
We just haven't popped the bottle and let the ball drop.
Right. And that's something I really wanted to touch on, because a lot of times this is what happens with normal people. If, like, in 2018, I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to make more money in my business. And then once the new year starts, you're like, all right, let me figure out what needs to, like, what can I tweak with my service areas, what services can I add, et cetera. But that's late. You know what I mean? Then you're wasting time, because if your goal for 2018 is to make more money, January 1st, it should already be in action things that are going to make you more money. Period.
Right.
Or if your goal is to lose weight or something like that, your eating habits should already be adjusted. Your trainer should already be set in stone. Like, all of that should be already in action by January 1st. And Absolutely. So that's how you execute. You plan things out. One of my goals for 2018, I know we're going to do an episode on this, so we'll talk about, like, all our goals and stuff, but one of my goals for 2018 is to expand on my personal brand. And what that looks like is more speaking engagements for me, more paid speaking engagements. So right now, I'm like, okay, before this year is out, there's 100 things that I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's why this book has to get out by the time this year is over, because next year at every speaking engagement, that book needs to be there, because that makes me more money and that makes me more marketable. So then on top of that, okay, my personal brand website needs to be revamped. I need new headshots. Like, I need all of these things done early. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that's going to waste time if I wait until 2018 to do it. My marketing strategy for my personal brand, my marketing plan needs to be finished, because that's going to start. The start date of the marketing plan is January 1st. So that means I don't have time to plan. It's time to execute. You know what I'm saying? So for you guys who are, let's say you're thinking about this year, you're not too happy with what you were able to accomplish, or you want to do more next year, or you just need like that extra motivation, start planning now. Like Milan said, this is the last month of Q3. I got 2 things I need to get done this quarter to still be on track for my year, and they're going to get done. But Q4 is next month. That's when things start slowing down. That's when everybody's spending time with their family. That's when you really need to make sure you're planning this together, because life just slows down naturally at that point. So for you guys, if you're still planning your 2018 goals, make it your objective for the month of September to finish your 2018 goals. Of course, you will add to them. You might subtract from them. But just come up with a very important list of 2018 goals and make sure that you start planning and preparing for them, not just planning, but preparing for that right now. So going back to the book situation, having a book to sell at speaking engagements is a part of me preparing for an additional opportunity. So if I go speak somewhere, people 9 times out of 10 are going to want to know, what can I get more information about you? Or what can I get? Or do you have a book? Do you have this? Do you have something? Here's my book. You know what I mean? It's to prepare to capitalize off of opportunities. So just make sure that you guys are not only preparing and planning for opportunities, but anticipating the opportunities that are going to come as a result. And again, sometimes that means investing in somebody who doesn't think like you. So if you want more exposure for your business, you should hire a publicist, because you can't. It's really hard to be everything when you first start a business. It's definitely hard, especially when you're trying to make things a strength that isn't a natural strength for you. Milan is naturally great at PR. That's why that's her business. I'm naturally great at business and marketing. That's why that's my business. That's not everybody's strength. So, again, if there's some areas that you might need another person's help on, or if you need some outside assistance or somebody that's strong where you're weak, definitely invest in whatever you need so that you can make sure that you hit the ground running in 2018.
Yes, and I've been telling y'all this. So if you need a publicist and you don't want the full dedication and that retainer that is pretty ugly to the pocket, we do have the Publicist in Your Pocket program, which you get a 60-minute call. We can talk about branding, PR, social media growth, all those great things. I give you proper guidance. I give you a free pitching template, and it's all for $120. And you get a 30-minute follow-up call. That's a steal.
Yeah, it is. Because you know what I'm going to say to that.
That's a steal. But I just give you guidance. Like, I'll answer, But, I mean, if you don't want to do the work, then you'll have to look into actually getting the whole publicist. I can give you guidance. I can point you in the right direction, but, that's just the start. That's just me saying it's the start. Think about it.
Yep, definitely. Okay, before we roll out, and once we both are feeling 100% again, we got to get back to the regular flow with the wins and the questions, but when you don't feel well, but you still got to get a show out, it's so difficult. Listen, you hear her coughing.
Right, okay, coughing. We both sound crazy. Our voices don't sound the same. They're probably like, is this Tatum and Milan on this episode?
For real, like the struggle. But I wanted to touch on one more thing before we roll out. So we were both using MailChimp. So I officially fired MailChimp. So for y'all that use MailChimp or are new or are looking for a way to build your email list or whatever, MailChimp is a great entry-level tool, but I had to roll out because I got, at the end of the month is when most of the services you use, the bills are due. So all my stuff is like automated. So like I'm getting all these receipts from like Acuity, MailChimp, Wix, all this. I'm like, all right, it must be the end of the month because they've taken all my money. So I always double check the receipts just to make sure what I'm paying is what I signed up for. Mm-hmm. And so MailChimp charged me like $20. And I was like, excuse me, why in the Sam Hill am I paying $20 for MailChimp? Now, again, MailChimp is an entry-level software. It's great, but it ain't worth $20 a month.
Right, at all.
So I was like, what? So it said that my, contact list had increased to whatever constituted an upgrade. And I'm like, that's not even true. Because I keep up with how many contacts I have, because I knew for a fact my plan was once I get to a certain amount of subscribers, I'm leaving MailChimp because it just has too many flaws that is not worth a certain price. So they upped me to $20. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, you guys said that I went up a certain amount of subscribers, and I don't think that that's true. Do you count like duplicate subscribers? Because you do have people who opt into like multiple things that you offer. So I was like, do you guys count duplicate subscribers? So they said they don't count duplicate subscribers on the same list, but if they're on multiple lists, they do count them as duplicates. So let's say, what'd you say?
That's BS.
That is ridiculous. So let's say,
it's
the same person. It's one person. Exactly. So for y'all that may not understand, let's say you offer a free ebook in May and people opt into it. Then you offer something else in October and people opt into it. If the same person or any type of person that opted into the May offer, that opted in October offer, they count them twice. That makes no sense. You're charging me twice for the same person. Are you serious? So I was like, so it's a no for me. So I went ahead and like paused my account or whatever. So I'm like, y'all can have that little $20, but what you won't do is get another $20 from me. So I paused my little account. So I'm searching, like I gotta find me another email marketing system. So I came across this gem called Mailer Lite. So it's like Miller Lite, like the beer, but it's Mailer Lite. Here's the gag. You can have up to 1,000 subscribers for free.
Okay.
MailChimp is up to something. Let me compare. Since we on here, let me compare.
I must have like it's a button here.
It's cheaper for sure. So with what MailChimp? Okay, so MailChimp is free to up to 2,000 subscribers. However, you have, let's say, a limit of like 12,000 emails a month. That's a lot of emails, so of course you can't reach that. But MailChimp goes from free to $20. Wait, this doesn't even make sense. I'm on MailChimp's website right now. It says, okay, this doesn't make sense. Hold on, let me go to something else. Okay, this thing is retarded. So, again, MailChimp needs to update because their pricing structure is not even making sense for me right now. But anyway, back to Mailer Lite, my newfound gem. They are free up to 1,000 subscribers, but then from 1,000 to 2,500, it's $10 a month. They don't even get up to $2,500. To $20 a month until you have 2,500 subscribers. But in addition to, it's not even just about the price and why I like them, because the pricing is comparable. So you kind of just nickel and diamond if you go just by pricing. What I like about them is they have a way better landing page option. With MailChimp, you can finesse a little landing page for whatever you're offering. You can definitely do that on there. But at MailerLite, they have like a really nice landing page option. And they also have a way better automation tool than MailChimp, and that's the most attractive thing to me. You can with MailChimp you can set up an automation, but it's really hard. Like MailChimp is not really user friendly, and MailerLite is really, really user friendly. So I switched over to them. I ain't paying nothing for them yet, thank God. But yeah, so I suggest that you guys check them out, do some comparing for whatever tool you have now. But my favorite feature, like I said, is the automation tool and the landing page tool, because people use things like lead pages, and lead pages is a whole nother expense. So it's kind of like you get the same benefit or a lot of the same features as like a lead pages, but it's right there in the email marketing system. So I just wanted to say that for y'all who like to learn about tools or whatever. So check those out and let us know what you think. They're not a sponsor in the show or anything, FYI. This is totally me telling you why I like them right now. And I will also tell you if I don't like them anymore if it comes up. But that's how I feel about them right now, because MailChimp tries my life with that $20. Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, don't forget, guys, we do have the sponsorship options, so you definitely can get some sponsorships to us, and we will do pre-roll and mid-roll advertisement, email blast, guest slots, so they're all the different packages. So you won't get the guest slot, the email blast, pre-roll and mid-roll under the $250 or $500 package. But if you check out our website under sponsorships, you can definitely see all of the sponsors that we offer, and just decide which one fits you best. And we have testimonials up there so you can understand what a sponsor really, what I'm trying to say. The benefits of being a sponsor is, I'm so tired, Lord. The benefits of being a sponsor is, and yeah, if you have any questions, definitely shoot me an email, info@managementpr.com, and I will respond back to any sponsorship questions that you may have.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
Peace out.